Welcome to Agranak Studios. We're going to take a look at what's behind my DM screen today. I made this screen a few years back. It's made of 1x12 knotty pine and some hinges and a little locking mechanism I stole from an old cheap wooden chest. I've decorated it with some dragon eyes, black leather, and coats of arms from different towns in my homebrew world of Tarna. I'd like to add more to the outside like fur and chains, stuff like that. But this is what I have right now. If you like D&D content like this, consider giving Agranak Studios a like and subscribe. Back to the video. I made this screen to hide the first 5th edition DM screen, which consequently I thought was superior to the reimagined DM screen. I do have both. I soon got rid of the 5e screen and added some magnets to hold some printed cardstock. For a while now I've been using this setup, but soon it's gonna change and I wanted to share it before I did. So the screen has the aesthetic I want and decent functionality with these magnets. There are 4 panels on the Dungeon Master side of the screen. This first one has a magical mishap chart, as I use wild magic in my campaigns. We roll to cast in my campaign, so magic is quite volatile and can rip dimensional rifts into time and space, but I digress. There's also a Wrath of Gods chart that essentially does the same thing, but for cleric spells. Below that, there's a description of how to get rid of corruption, disconnection, and insanity points, something I picked up from Dungeon Craft a few years back. I used the bottom text below for about 3, maybe 5 sessions, and haven't used it since. The next panel here has target numbers, spell casting difficulty numbers, a critical failure chart, and exhaustion chart. On the right side are random encounters for lower levels. This is a 3d6 matrix. The original idea is read from left to right. So for instance, I wrote for mountain encounters, number 5, a witch, ritual, and needs an ingredient. But in the matrix, if you roll 3d6, you can come up with all sorts of wacky stuff. I got this idea from Dungeon Masterpiece, and it has worked amazingly. It gets you thinking outside of the box when you weren't even planning on it. The next panel is the basic stats of the players, up to 6 on this sheet. There's a place for the name, hit points, armor class, magic, save, DC. Then when I was using disconnection and insanity points, I had those other icons. Those are consequently going away in the future. The final panel is about the almighty tavern, inns, and shops. The tavern name generator consists of the chart from the Dungeon Master Guide, 5th edition, with some changes for some of the options that I didn't like. This is essentially set up like a read across, but randomized with 2 d20s. So for instance, picking number 5 again is the prancing pony from Lord of the Rings, obviously. But if you roll randomly, you could get something like the Drunken Mountain, which I used in a campaign years ago, which ended up being a wonderful dwarven drinking hall. I took the same concept and made the Grub and Grog generator. So after rolling 2 d20s, the special tonight is barley porridge and gin. The pipeweed chart are some common blends in my world. I have an expanded chart now that uses the above ideas to create a more random name for each pipeweed blend. Next is tavern type, and then random shops. On the tabletop, I have a skull dice tower that is a lot of fun. A dice box complete with light, as we typically play in low light with candles. Real candles, mind you. I use this bag over here of D20 coins for tokens for inspiration, or we use the luck mechanic. I award to people that roll a natural 13 or lucky 13 one of these coins for a re-roll or whatever. Also, Runehammer's Think Deck, which is great for on-the-fly emergent storytelling, as well as basic framework and design for your adventures. I'll try to put all the links to the things that I'm mentioning in the description. I also have some Raging Swan Press random tables, and even the Perilous Wilds are all pretty handy. Though I don't use them in every session, I found the most useful book out of the lot for me is I Loot the Body, I highly recommend that book. I got the all-important graph paper set up in a horizontal fashion and a zebra mechanical pencil. So that's what's behind my screen, at least currently. Going to be changing it up pretty soon. Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
All right, do this and do that and do this and do that and watch this video.